What is up, everyone, and welcome back to Into the Westworld. This is our preview show where we talk about the upcoming episode based off of what we know is going on and based off of the episode preview that they show at the end of the last episode that we talked about. Yes, I said episode a lot, but hopefully you still got the gist of it. I am Griffin Schiller, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Tyler Tompkins and Zach Pope. Tyler, say hello to everyone.
What's up, guys? Good to be back. I'm excited to talk about episode 3 because it looks like a lot is going down in this one.
Shit is hitting the fan.
A lot of human on host action, if you know what I mean.
And with that, we're moving on to Zach. Zach, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, but man, that's a great way to put it, Tyler. We're getting a lot of nice, great action, and not in the best way you can kind of think in this show. Something different for once.
Yes.
Not a lot of tits.
Yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh my god. Yes, absolutely. Well, there you know. So this is essentially our preview show where we're gonna try our best to speculate about the upcoming episode. We know that Westworld is a weird show where you think what would be the logical progression is not always what they show. Maybe they'll save that for a few episodes down the road. But I think we can base off of the promo that they show for the upcoming episode at the end of this episode. So we're gonna try our best. So if you checked out the last episode, then you know our thoughts on it, and you know that we were big fans of it, and you know that it spent a lot of time building towards Dolores finding this weapon, finding a little bit more about the dragon, right? Finding out a little bit more about the business side of Westworld, how William's involved, and and what this weapon is that he created. And so we skip ahead and we get to the preview. Zach, what is going on here with this preview?
Well, if this seems to be like the next episode, it's nice to see that they're not just skipping to another character, like focusing on Maeve or focusing on something. No, they're continuing Dolores' storyline from this last episode, which was really nice to see. And I mean, like we were joking around, but there is a lot of human on host action, but not in the way that we usually get. There seems to be like, this is a big action episode, so maybe this is one of those bigger set pieces that we might be seeing for once.
Yeah, there's a lot of conflict. It looks like definitely a skirmish or maybe a battle between the hosts and the Delos guys. Who really knows at this point? But I love that one shot where Dolores gets shot by that automatic weapon. She just like flinches and shoots with another pistol.
She doesn't care. She takes it like a man.
Right, once again, this is why Dolores is one of the best characters of the show. But Tyler, what do you think is going to happen in this upcoming episode here?
Wow, like Zach was saying, I hope that they continue on this storyline and they don't jump to something completely different, like just showing Maeve off by herself while Dolores is doing what she's doing. I hope that they continue what we were seeing, and I really hope that we see this battle, and I hope it's really big. It'd be kind of cool to see that because that usually doesn't happen in this show.
Right. And we were actually kind of discussing this off camera, but Zach, you brought up the point, what is the direction that we want this series to go? Do we want it to still remain, philosophical and diving into like, what it means to be human and stuff like that? Or do we want it to take a little bit more of a conflict route? And I know my answer to the question is I want it to remain excuse me, at its core, philosophical and everything that made me fall in love with the first season. But obviously there is going to be conflict here. I mean, there is going to be a build-up to something just due to the nature of the hosts revolting and whatnot. And so this might be the first little encounter that we see here upcoming in episode 3.
And that is true. And I mean, another big thing we have to remember is the beginning episode when Bernard says, I did this, and all these hosts are dead. Host and maybe even just people. I mean, it looks mostly hosts, but that's something to come into play is that there is some big stuff the show's building up towards. And the show, I mean, the first season, it had its action beats. It wasn't nothing show. It was a lot of philosophical stuff. I mean, the action didn't come towards the end. I feel like the same thing's going to happen with this season, but a little bit more sprinkled in.
Yeah. No, I agree. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I hope it is more sprinkled in because I did like the first season, but for me, I think it did get a little too philosophical. I think Jonathan Nolan does get a little too philosophical at times. and I could just use a little bit more action in a series like this with such a cool concept. So hopefully, I hope there's a little bit more sprinkled in throughout the season.
Well, Ryan, it definitely looks like they're going that route. But the thing we got to talk about here is that last little tag of the tiger. Does that mean that we may get introduced to the Shogun world in this upcoming episode? Or is it just, or are they just going to tease us for like several episodes and then, you know?
I think we're going to get a little bit of Maeve next episode, actually going to the Shogun. Like, that'll probably be where it ends, and the next episode after. I'm thinking 4 or 5 is right when we're going to go into the Shogun. Just for one episode, I think 5, I'm guessing, like, middle of the season, that'll be a nice break. It'll go away from, like, really everything else in the story and follow Maeve, and just go into the Shogun world and get some cool interactions there. And I feel like, however the reception is from people, which I think it'll probably be pretty positive, I feel like the next season into that, they'll probably delve deeper into the other worlds and just go into that whole different meanings. Because think about it, Maeve's going to start a little revolution herself. If she goes in there and all the AI is all good, and think about it, they're good, the people who are making it all work is good.
Right.
Think about it. When she goes in there, she's going to have a tablet. She's going to change all the shit up.
That's the thing. We didn't necessarily touch on this in our recap, but when we see Dolores and Maeve encounter, they're both revolting, but it looks like in different ways. Like they're not on the same page. So are we going to maybe see next episode, maybe later down the road, are we going to see, hosts fighting against hosts for, what they think is the right path?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah. If they eventually end up going against each other.
Yeah.
Like they end up fighting each other. That would be really interesting because I love both of those characters so much.
Cowboys versus samurais. I dig it.
There we go. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think what the promo did for episode 3 was I mean, because the end of episode 2 is very much a cliffhanger. Like, we want to see what's going to happen next. I mean, it happened with the first episode, but in this one, I felt like a little bit more like I really just want to get to the next story beat in this path that we're going on. And so it looks like they're continuing on that, and I like that. It's a nice change of pace for the show.
Totally. And that's why I think next episode is going to be more of an action-heavy one. I think that's something that a lot more people wanted, like Tyler was saying, that I think that's something that the show probably needed the benefit more from. I'm not saying we need totally action, but you can't just have a philosophical kind of thing going through. I get that's like mostly the theme of this, but to a certain extent, you also need to have those exciting moments in there where it gets you going, which is like The Leftovers. That's another great HBO show, but it really is a philosophical thinking, watching show. Nothing more than that. There's not a lot of action in there, and I feel like Westworld's trying to kind of like differentiate itself from that and bring in different themes in there. And I think the next episode is going to bring a very big different theme.
Yeah, right. I think they're kind of looking at Game of Thrones and going like, okay, we need to be kind of like them because Leftovers was beloved by many people, but it did get. I think it didn't get canceled pretty early. Like
I don't know if it got.
No,
it
3
didn't get
seasons.
Canceled. It was
that's
just
all they wanted. 3
yeah,
seasons.
It was
That's all they wanted.
Season show.
So like after season 2, like they weren't like. Oh, okay. I guess I was wrong. I didn't know if like Lindelof said something, but yeah.
No.
Yeah, for me, and it's funny for me. The Leftovers loved the first season, but I mean, as you got to season 2 and 3, they were like drastically different. And for me, some of that just didn't really work for me personally.
See, I hated the first season.
Which is probably why like I want a little bit more action. I guess for Westworld, so it'll be. I guess they're kind of just taking notes from each HBO original program and trying to make.
Well, they're trying to make it into something new.
Yeah.
Because once they lose all these shows, it's like shit. We got Watchmen coming out, but how's that going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that is also a ideological, philosophical show with some action sprinkled. Yeah, that'll be
The Leftovers.
Right, exactly. Just makes sense. But all right, guys. So closing thoughts on this. This is going to be a really quick episode. It's really just our thoughts on what's going to happen in the upcoming episode. So Zach, let's start with you.
So next episode, I'm very anticipating it. I'm hoping to get some Shogun in there. I hope we can get some good action beats in there. And overall, I don't think we'll see the dragon next episode. Maybe not at all. But I really am looking forward to just this episode. I thank God I do not close next weekend because I just want to watch the second it comes up.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, Tyler, what are your closing thoughts?
For the first time in a long time, I'm actually very excited for the next episode.
Wow.
Oh, wow, Tyler, you actually like
He's
the
gonna
show.
stay home next Sunday and watch it.
Yes, because usually I look forward to because it's something to watch, but like this one, it ended on a pretty big cliffhanger, like because they were starting out that thing, and I want to see this battle go down. So,
oh yeah, totally agree.
Excited.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Well, I will pose one question to you all. Do you think through the magic of editing, it's it's teasing us that it's going to be humans versus hosts, but it's actually going to be hosts versus hosts? Or
you ruined
that's
it.
what I'm scared of. That's what I'm scared of.
God damn it.
What do you guys think? What is it going to be?
Now that you said that, it's host versus host. I don't see it being humans. Maybe a
think it's
couple,
just-
but I think it'll mostly be host. I mean, you even see the Indians in there, and they've been sprinkled in there. We still have no idea what the fuck those things are.
No, yeah, I'm excited about that because
they're on
they
their
were
own
pretty
program.
brutal.
Yeah, no,
So,
for sure.
I don't
Well, I
know.
just wanted to pose that question to you all. And that's going to do it for our preview episode of episode 3 of the upcoming show. I fucked that up.
It's okay.
Oh
it's
my
okay.
god.
It's okay.
I'm leaving that in there. I'm just leaving that in there. That is going to do it for this preview episode of Into the Westworld. Looking
Behind
ahead
the scenes,
to
guys.
behind the scenes, yeah. Looking ahead to episode 3 of Westworld, not Into the Westworld. That is our podcast show. Thank you to my 2 panelists for joining me again, as always. Mr. Zach Pope, where can everyone find you?
You guys find me on YouTube at Zach Pope and on Twitter at Pope the King. Come talk to me and we can talk about Ash vs. the Evil Dead. How fucking dare they cancel that show?
That is bullshit, I will say. That is just... That belongs on a different show, but it's bullshit. And anyways, Tyler, where can everyone find you?
Yes, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram by searching Tyler Tompkins, and I should be the first one that pops up, hopefully.
There you go. Hopefully. We never know. But all of their social media links will be in the description of this podcast. And we're doing something kind of cool. These preview episodes are going to be an exclusive to the podcast feed. So this first one I think we'll release on both platforms, just kind of as a heads up to everyone. But it'll be on the Men vs. Movies YouTube channel, and it will also be on the Into the Westworld podcast feed. But after this, we're going to start just making this a podcast exclusive. So if you like this kind of episode, and we do want to hear from you eventually in the future, we want to maybe incorporate some Stardust reactions, some tweets if you want to tweet at us. Tweet us at Men versus Movies, and just like all your Westworld thoughts and all that good stuff. But yeah, we want to interact with you a little bit. So maybe in some upcoming preview episodes for this, we can include your thoughts on stuff. So if you are listening to us on iTunes, definitely be sure to leave us a rating and a review. That greatly helps us out. Really helps get the show noticed and gets the word out there and all that good stuff. If you are watching us on the Men vs. Movies YouTube channel, be sure to like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe to the YouTube channel for more Westworld content and a bunch of other, TV and movie related stuff. There's a lot of great stuff there, so definitely take a look around, and I'm sure you'll find something. And if you can also like Men vs. Movies on Facebook and follow us on Twitter simply by searching Men vs. Movies. And lastly, guys, if you like me specifically, my voice is dying. I have a cold. This is not working out. If you like me specifically and you like what I have to say, you can always give me a follow on Twitter at Griff Schiller. All right, that will do it for this preview episode of Into the Westworld. And until next time, guys, take care.